What is going on, everybody? It's Brian from Brian Love Bonsai. I am styling another tree for you today. I'm working on my Ficus microcarpa. This is the subspecies tiger bark. There's probably a bunch of them. The two major ones I know are tiger bark and green island, and it's pretty easy to tell the difference between them if you look at the leaves. These are much more elongated, they're thinner, and they're much more flexible. The green island are more round, and they're thicker, and they're kind of like pulpy, fleshy. So this is the tiger bark ficus. I am going to be styling it today. When you're styling a tree, when I'm styling a tree at least, it's important to try and get the structural wire on there first, which is why I'm wiring the biggest branches. And I'm also going to go ahead and wire up that main trunk on the left. I also I don't like to defoliate completely when I'm styling unless I really have to, but it is important for me to shorten the branches, especially if I'm going to be wiring most of them out. And then I'm also spending a lot of my time removing leaves that are kind of obstructing my view. Basically any downward facing leaves, any upward facing leaves. I kind of make it, I'm focusing on the aesthetic of it so that I can see what branches I'm working with. And those ones that are like crossing into other branches and are in the way of my view, I am getting rid of those the whole time. The way that I learned and the way that I continue to do it for the most part is to start with the bottom branches first. So you can see I'm starting with the bottom branches on the right and left. This is the side with the main trunk on it. So I started with the other side because I was really trying to see how much distance I wanted to bring the tree back to on that other side. Those branches are thicker, but there's really only two contributing to what will be the right side of the tree when we're looking at the front. So right now I'm just wiring out the lower branches. They kind of fell a lot from the weight of the leaves, so I'm just trying to restructure them, spread them out, give a little bit of three-dimensionality to the canopy in that area. As you can see, I tend to remove a lot of the leaves and branches coming out of the front. That's just because I have a lot of development left on this tree, and I want to be able to see into the main structure. So, I think that it's much easier to fill in those little front areas with new branches than it is for me to kind of style around them and keep them around for now, especially when it's just going to be like little offshoots. So that's the way I'm handling that. As you can see, I'm using some thicker wire. I think this is 3.5 millimeters or 4 millimeters to wire the main trunk structure. I just want to continue those bends. As you see at the top, it really straightens out, kind of just becomes a straight plank, so I'm going to add some movement back into there. And it's also important for your secondary branches that are coming off of that main trunk line to be coming off the outside of a bend. So I'm going to take a couple of, minutes. Well, really, this took a long time for me to figure out, but I'm bending the trunk at just the right angle so that I can have those secondary branches coming off at the outside of a curve. If you look at it, none of them are ever coming out of the inside of an elbow, or if they are, it's very rarely to fill in space or something like that. But you can see if there's a curve, then the branch is going to be on the outside of that curve, and that is just visually appealing. It's just what makes the tree look nice. So it's really important when you're choosing those branches to be choosing the branches that are coming off the outside of those bends when you're going back and forth. And so at this point I'm just going to keep following those rules. I'll probably put a little bit of sound on and just let you watch me style the tree, but again, I'm just going to be continuing to remove leaves, shorten up those secondary and tertiary branches if there are any, because that's not my main focus right now. I'm really focusing on the primary structure still. Wiring so that the secondary branches come on the outside of the bends, and then just trying to clean up the space and spread everything out so that it creates a nice continuation and structure that I'm happy with. So I'm going to put some sound on and just wire out the tree. So as always, when I start wrapping up the tree, I kind of look at the film one last time and make a few adjustments. So I go ahead and do that when the camera cuts off before the 360 starts, which is right now. So you can see my final view of what I find acceptable, because honestly I'm constantly changing and adjusting the branches. But this is where the point where I feel like it's presentable for now after the work I've done. So as you can see, most of the canopy is on the left. It's really cool the way that I feel like it meets the two branches over on the right and kind of completes the canopy with that big gap of negative space above that big swollen trunk cut. And I'm really excited to watch this thing thicken up and grow out now. I think it's ready for fall to kind of close out this set of growth, and then spring is going to be really good for this tree. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you again for watching.